Right, good afternoon everybody. Bit breezy outside and a bit noisy here in Peterborough. So this is going to be a general video about what happens on a koi trip. I can only do Tim Waddington specifically because that's the only one I've been on. 100% win, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say. I've made a list of different elements, like when you're in the airport, when you're on the train station, preparing for flights, hotels you'll be stopping in, the general day-to-day activities, or when you're on a mud pond visit or a breeder visit or a harvest or whatever. I'll try and do it best I can. There's going to be gaps. You all know how to contact me. Those people with my number, just get in touch with me and I'll try and help you out. So how did it all start for me? Well, I just expressed an interest with Tim, went on the Koi Trips website and just basically said, I'm interested when you're going. What I was told was it's all dependent on where the harvest is. All the breeders seem to have their harvest at different times. Tim deals pretty much with anybody and everybody, but focuses on Shintaro. So initially we were going the early part of October, and then because of the harvest it got delayed and knocked back to third week in October. That's all right with me. So express an interest with Tim, email him, WhatsApp him. He will sort the hotel out in Nagaoka, which I'll get to. So flights, shop around for flights, pay extra for legroom because legroom is a must. 13.5 to 15 hours on an aircraft, you need that space. Go for that. I used a company called Skyscanner to search for prices. You have to liaise with Tim before you get your flights. So say for instance Tim's landing at 12 o'clock on a Thursday. You need to try and get there just before Tim, liaise with Tim, catch up with Tim and jump on the train together with Tim. If you do it the other way around, you'll just have to get on the train on your own. That's no setback, but because I were going to a strange country, didn't know my way around, I thought it was safer to go under the wing of Tim and he could help me out, which he did. When you're on the plane, loose clothing. 15 hours, oh, you don't want to be wearing jeans. Absolutely no way. If I thought I could get away with going in my pyjamas, I'd have done that. Comfort, 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 every time. So loose clothing, compression socks. Big must is that. You might laugh at that. I didn't. Compression socks. Go for extra allowance, especially when you're coming back, because there is all sorts of goodies to buy. I went with British Airways, direct flights from Terminal 5 Heathrow, direct to Haneda. I got extra allowance and I got all my goodies in my case and back home. So we'll call that flights. The airport, two to choose from. You've got Narita, which is some way out of Tokyo, and Haneda, which is somewhere in Tokyo. So for me and my advice, Haneda, because it's closer. Simple as that. One thing you have to prepare for as well is a pocket Wi-Fi box. You have to order these online and pick them up from Haneda. You can do it in the UK, prepare it in the UK, and then you just need to get there on the day that you planned. Pick it up from Haneda Airport before you leave the terminal. It's all in there. You will be offered immigration and declaration paperwork on the aircraft. You have to fill that in. They are very, very clinical with immigration and declaration. So grab them on the aircraft, fill them in, be prepared. If you have to fill them in the airport, you basically go to the back of the queue until you're ready. I personally am on EE and there was no Wi-Fi in Haneda. None. I was in the dark. Not until you come out of the immigration area and the declaration area that you have access to your Wi-Fi box, but that's after the fact. So have a word with your provider, see if they cover you for Japan and if you have Wi-Fi access at that point. I didn't. Also, before you leave the airport, get yourself one of these. It's a Pasmo card. They do all sorts of travel cards. This is the one that I got offered and I took it, and it is awesome. You can't use it on JR, which is the Shinkansen, as far as I know, but local buses, local trains, shops, 7-Elevens, there is ample areas where you can use this. I think it's about 500 yen to buy the card, and then you charge it up with whatever you want at various charging stations around the city, and there are plenty of them. But I charged mine up to 2,000 yen. It were fine, absolutely fine. And while we're in the airport, there is a hotel within Haneda Airport, Park Hotel. I got the advice off Tim, but if you're having one final night, have your final night at the Park Hotel. Check-in is 5 minutes from the hotel. You just walk out and you're there. That's a great idea. Never thought of it. Should have done it. Didn't do it. That's up to you. Train tickets. Once you get out of Haneda Airport, you jump straight on the monorail. Use your Pasmo card. Very, very cheap. That takes you to, can't remember the name of the I can't remember the name of the station. Anyway, only goes to one station, and the one after that is Tokyo. When you get into Tokyo Station, that's when you can start getting your Shinkansen tickets. The general trains like run in a circle. So when you jump on a train, make sure you're heading in the right direction. If you get in the wrong direction, you've got a long journey. You'll still get to the same place, but it'll take you 2 or 3 times as long. So make sure you're going in the right direction. After a while, using a train is very, very simple. When you first get there, it's quite daunting. Stick with it, you'll get there. Shinkansen, incredibly fast, incredibly plush. Their first class is called Green Car. My advice, splash out. I think I paid 65 quid from Tokyo to Nagaoka. An hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. Brilliant. When you get off the Shinkansen at Nagaoka station, the hotel is just across the street. 5 minutes walk. Perfect. When you're on the train, store your cases correctly. Sometimes, and in some situations, you have to pay for case storage. Be aware, smaller cases can go on the roof rack or the luggage rack. Other than that, enjoy, it's awesome. When you're on standard trains and you're carrying a rucksack, spin your rucksack round and have it across your chest, because that is respectful. You're giving up a little bit of space behind so somebody else can get in. I used 20 trains and it was never rammed. It was busy, but it was never rammed. But spin your rucksack round so you can be respectful for other people. Right, so let's pretend you're now at the new Otani Hotel in Nagaoka. That seems to be the hotel of choice for all the koi dealers. When you go down for breakfast, everybody's wearing a koi dealer t-shirt from all around the world. That's just how it is. There is Wi-Fi at some breeders, so you'll be okay there. Disinfectant trays at most breeders, make sure you use it. Take water with you, bottles of water in your rucksack, because it's quite hot. You're going to be on the move all day. Keep the water going in. One thing you might notice is the food for the koi. FD Foods, Sakayakari and the salt. That seems to be the top 3 bags of stuff that you trip over for every breeder that you seem to go to. Moving around, make sure you got boots because it can get quite muddy. Rainwear because the rain comes down like stair rods. Have a rucksack to keep your GoPro in, your wet weather clothes, change of socks, whatever. I got bitten a couple of times. Bite cream. There's some creepy crawlies around, flying creepy crawlies. So yeah, bite cream. Have a hat, protect your head, sunglasses, easy one. I use magnifiers as glasses. Make sure you take about 3 or 4 pairs because bending over a pond, sooner or later you're going to drop one straight off the top of your cap and straight in the drink. A lot of times you can fish them out, sometimes you can't get to them. They're gone. Excuse me. As you're driving around, you'll come to many viewpoints. If you go with Tim, and I recommend that, he'll stop at some viewpoints and you can get some nice photographs. The general day is you will visit many breeders on repeat for the whole trip. That is the idea of the trip, and you will just go round and round and round. Each time you go, they could have had a harvest and new stock is coming in all the time, so it gets a bit giddy. Get involved with the harvest and put the waders on, but beware you are moving amongst expensive fish. What you saw on Tim's video was me lifting fish out and putting them into the paddling pool. On reflection, no, I shouldn't have done that. These are the breeders, very expensive fish. I haven't got the correct skills in order to move those fish around successfully. I could do it with my own fish, but not with theirs. So my advice is get your waders on and stay on the other side of the net. You're close enough as you are. So yeah, don't break any of his fish because they are very expensive. That's that bit. General stuff. This is an easy one. Get a translator app on your phone. These are essential. They worked perfectly for me. Out of respect for the Japanese people, learn a few phrases. Please, thank you, good morning, good night. They work really well and they are received exceptionally well. When you're in the New Otani Hotel and you leave to go to the mud ponds, check your keys in. Don't take your keys with you because you lose them and it's quite expensive to replace. You'll be given breakfast vouchers for each morning of your stay. There is a slot for your keys as you walk through the door, and what I was doing was putting the following morning's breakfast voucher behind the keys because the first morning I got down to the bottom of the lift and forgot and had to come all the way back. So, all right, it's 5 minutes just to go back and get it, but if you put your voucher behind the keys, you will always remember it. There is an extra cost for using the cars and minivans. Clearly, when you're sharing a car or a minivan to go to the breeders, you have to stump up some of that cost. That's an obvious one. Stick some snacks into your rucksack because it can be a long day and sometimes you don't get access to snacks. But a lot of times you do past 7-Elevens. Quick tap on the shoulder with Tim and he'll organise a stop and you'll get some food. Tim sorts all the hotels out, so liaise with him with the New Otani and how long you're going to stay out there. He's been doing it 32 years. I'm not going to guess when he knows, so he did it for me. All around Nagaoka, oh my throat. All around Nagaoka there are shops and food places. You're not going to starve. Not going to starve at all. On an evening you'll be going occasionally to a place called the Liffey Tavern, an Irish place, although I did have to have a word with the staff and ask them what on earth was a Liffey when clearly I knew and they had no idea, so I educated them a little bit. Order of the day for me was up at 7:30, breakfast at 8 o'clock and you were out on the road at 8:30. Visiting breeders, always ask Tim for the schedule. Yeah, I'll leave that with you. Ask Tim for the schedule. Lunch at Shintaro, 12:30 till 1:30. Hiromi is the lady of the house, and she puts on a staggeringly lovely meal. Express your thanks daily by using oishi, which just means delicious, and arigato gozaimasu is a thank you. Generally the day finishes around 5:30, and then speak to Tim. He will organise a time when everybody meets down in reception for going out for a meal or having a few beers before you're going out for a meal. Everybody goes to the same place in your group. General again, take him with you, take your meds, paracetamol, plasters, just simple stuff you chuck in your bag just in case. Some of the things you should try out there is sushi. Oh, yes please. You will notice that the Japanese people are very respectful. They are very kind, and there will be a lot of bowing. That is a sign of respect. Get involved with the bowing, show your respect back. They will accept it lovingly. There are no litter bins, or very, very short supply. In which case, if you make any litter, put it in your bag, take it back to the hotel, dispose of it there. When you're moving around in these breeders' places, have your phone on quiet. When you're on the trains, have your phone on quiet. And when you're in the hotel, have your phone on quiet. Easy one. Footwear, when you're going into homes, have slip-on, slip-off, because no shoes in Japanese homes. Out of respect, you take them off. And especially in temples. If you go to any temples, ever visit a temple, shoes must come off. Very easy to take off a slip-on shoe. A little bit more work involved if you have to undo laces on boots. That's the way it is. If you're just going to do the harvest, visit the breeders, go on the koi trip just for the koi, the next bit will be irrelevant. My trip, I went to Nagaoka for 9 days and I had 4 days in Tokyo. Perhaps I should have done it the other way around, because Tokyo is very busy and I would have enjoyed the mountains perhaps that little bit better if I'd have done noisy first, quiet last. As it happens, I did quiet first, noisy last, and it was nice to get somewhere quiet. Another general point, have a pocket full of yen in your pocket or in your wallet or purse. Some places will take Pasmo, a lot of places will take yen, and many places will take standard UK bank cards. So don't worry yourself over bank cards. Make sure you get one of these. This is a Shinkansen ticket, and I'm not much of a train fan, but that is something that you have to try because it is incredibly fast and luxurious. Right, I've rattled on enough and my throat's a bit croaky. I hope I've covered a lot of things to go on a koi trip. I can thoroughly recommend koi trips with Tim Waddington. We wanted for nothing, basically. Wanted for nothing. Anytime you want a particular fish and you tell him, he will get you to that place. It's in his best interest to do that. That is his job. I was very happy to get a Hyutsuri from Shinoda. Blown away, in fact. Yeah. So there we are. I've rattled on enough. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. If you want to know anything extra or have missed anything out, just contact me through WhatsApp or through YouTube. Take care and look after yourself.